I am Brooklyn-based psychotherapist Nikita Banks, and I am your host of Black Therapist Podcast, formerly of Black in Therapy. Black Therapist Podcast is the podcast where we discuss the unique issues people of color face when dealing with mental health issues and mental health diagnosis. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Black Therapist Podcast, or you can follow us on our Facebook fan page at Black in Therapy, or my fan page at Nikita Banks LMSW. You can email us fan mail, general feedback, and show suggestions at blacktherapistpodcast@gmail.com. You can sign up for our mailing list at blacktherapistpodcast.com. Tweet, share, like, leave us comments on whatever platform you listen to us at, whether it be SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes, Apple Music, Stitcher, etc. We are wherever podcasts are found. So just a little bit of house cleaning. Is that what it's called? House cleaning, housekeeping, whatever. I put out a call on my social media sites or social media accounts to all of the therapists and people who have been affected by mental health issues or mental health advocates to reach out to me via blacktherapistpodcast@gmail.com. And the reason is because I want to not only just provide mental health topics, but I want it to also be a resource. So I want the show to be a resource, and I want our platform to be a resource for you guys if you're dealing with mental health issues, because a lot of things are happening, and there are a lot of changes and improvements that are happening with the show, and I don't want you guys to miss anything. And so as we're growing, platforms are changing. I may or may not stay on the same hosting account. And the way to keep up with the show and the way to make sure that you're getting content and resources and the things that we're doing delivered right to your inbox is to email us or go to our website and join our mailing list. And so you can go to blacktherapistpodcast.com, or you can shoot us an email at blacktherapistpodcast@gmail.com, because I don't want you to miss a thing. And I'm sure you don't want to miss where we're going next. Now for today's episode. So I do not do resolutions. I don't know. I think that there's value in it for you if you want to resolve to do something. But I don't know. It's not one of those things that I like to do. I just feel like change should be gradual. It should be realistic. And I think that a lot of people don't handle or stay with their New Year's resolutions because they're not really committed to doing it. It's usually things that they should do because they want to do. So for this year, what I decided to do was to just ask for what I wanted. A lot of times when you are a strong woman and you are somebody that a lot of people come to for help, no one tends to ask you how you're feeling and what you're doing. And so at the end of 2017, I decided that I was going to put up a post in a few of the groups that I was in on Facebook and just ask for what I was looking for. I needed to find my tribe. And so the end of 2017 for me was about planning and being strategic about what I wanted to magnify in 2018. And I wanted to magnify my resources, and I wanted to magnify my network, and I wanted to magnify my net worth, and I wanted to increase my business. Why am I stumbling all over these words? I wanted to increase my business and increase the blessings that I was able to provide to my clients and the people I interact with. And so those were my promises to myself. I also wanted to be healthier, but this isn't about that. So what I did was I proposed a deal to my girlfriends and the people that I'm around the most and I spend the most time with, that we would all decide what we needed and what we wanted to do as the goals for 2018, and we would learn a skill. So one person on the team would learn marketing, and one person on the team would learn PR, and one person on the team would learn social media strategies, and somebody would learn finances or investing, and somebody else would learn, I don't know, about this damn new tax code or read about the new tax code, right? And so all of the things that we needed, we would just kind of decide what we would focus on. One person would focus on learning one thing and bring it back and share it to the group. And so even though I had several people that I see all the time and that I deal with on a daily basis, for whatever reason, this situation fell apart. Now, I know better, right? I'm the only person in my friend group who I offered this deal to who has a business. And I understand that when you go to where you're going to go in life, everybody isn't going to go with you, but I don't really want to succeed by myself, right? Who does? I want to succeed with my peoples. I want to see my friends win so that I know that even if they win before me, it's attainable. It's doable because they did it, right? And so I offered this deal. One person came back to me to discuss it, but there has been no action. And there's a lot being done about visions and vision boards. I'm not that girl, so I didn't want to have another vision board party. I really wanted to do something that was going to provide implementable strategies for the things that we needed in business. So if you're listening to this show and you use this idea and you get your friends to think about the things that you guys need to learn as a whole to advance your business or start your business or grow your business or have a better, happier, healthier life, please send me an email, drop me a line, and let me know what you guys ended up doing and if you guys succeeded, right? So part of that, my friends didn't agree or they couldn't agree or they didn't commence to doing this thing. So I just left it alone. But it was burning in my soul that I just needed to have a team. I needed to be around like-minded people who had their own businesses, who were accessible to me, who could actually help me do certain things. And I wrote a post in one of my Facebook groups that I'm in, and it reads as follows. So I'm going to be transparent and vulnerable. I need a team. I need a tribe. I need to be inspired, not so much about moral support, but someone to call on and bounce ideas off of. Someone I can pour into and someone that can pour into me. I love my friends, but I need a consortium, a group of consiglieres. Concierges. I don't know how you say it. Sorry, Italians, if you're listening. My business needs more work than my budget will allow, more progress than my brain can learn, and all that needs to be learned. My life needs some leaders in some other areas. So for the new year, I made a proposal to my friends that each of us would take a few months and one designated person immerse themselves into learning something that we can bring back to the team, whether it be marketing, social media marketing, strategic thinking, automation, accounting, investing, real estate purchasing, public relations, editing, book production, whatever. They choose what they want to learn and bring it back to the team. And no one, and I mean no one, took me up on this. I can't allow 2018 to catch me without a team. Let me know if I can be a part of yours because I want to vibrate higher. So what ended up happening in the group is that the people asked that I create a group. And that's not my strong suit. Like, I want to spend as little time as I possibly can off of social media. But what I ended up doing was creating a group, and the group is called Learn, Show, Grow. And what ended up happening is in less than 24 hours, I had like over 125 people in this group. And so far, we're over 200 members. And the description of the group is we are an incubator for an exchange of ideas to help your small and budding business grow. Members must be active, willing to learn, and share what they learn for the benefit of the community. If you are ready to be successful, let's work. Since starting this group, I have been surrounded by the most compassionate and wonderful women and men who are so loving and giving of themselves to help each of us, each member of the group get where they want to get. It allows me to utilize some of the talents that I have taken for granted, some of the things that I know how to do, like web building and web development and podcasting, and take it back to the community. And I'm able to share what I learned, but I'm also able to draw from them. I've learned how to edit. I've learned social media skills. I've learned copy editing skills. I've learned how to edit my podcast for the web in a way that I can make it a visual graphic that I'm going to be putting on my YouTube channel, right? And so what I want to say is that there's a tendency that we have to suffer in silence. There's a tendency that we have is to stay comfortable with the people that we know and to ask for help with the people who are sometimes least likely or even least capable to assist us in the way that we are going and in the way that we actually need. Sometimes we have to change the room in order to find our audience. Sometimes we have to be vulnerable and transparent in saying, you know what, I cannot do this all alone. And so if you are looking for a new tribe, if you are looking for a group that you want to join or you want to have access to, or you're looking to contribute and be somewhere where you can say that you want to quit your job or you're depressed today or you need help doing XYZ, which is all posts that I've seen in this group in the past few weeks that we've been active, is just ask. Just raise your voice, put your head down, tuck your tails between your legs, and ask for what you want. My mother's favorite Bible quote, and I don't know if it's a Bible quote, the quote that she says to me is that you have not because you ask not. What I didn't realize when I put up that post is that there's an army of people who feel just like me. There's an army of business owners or people who have ideas for business or people who feel isolated, who have friends who don't have accountability partners, who don't have people that are able to just pour into their business and help them and assist them. And I've gained so much from being in this group. Now, what this isn't is a solicitation. This isn't a solicitation for anybody else to join the group. However, if you would like to join our group, Learn, Show, Grow, we are active on Facebook, and you can just go on in there and I guess type that in and pop it on up and join us. But be willing to engage, be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to ask the people around you for help. And if they cannot help you, don't be afraid to change the room. Don't be afraid to go into a different space where you can get the things that you need. Many years ago, when I was a journalist, I interviewed 50 Cent, and I told this story in the group. And at that time, I was just graduating from undergrad. And so I'm interviewing him for ESPN or one of the other outlets that I worked for. And I had not intended on liking 50 because I liked Ja Rule. Like, I know Jeff, just from the neighborhood and growing up and stuff. And he's just a pretty cool guy. So I hadn't intended on liking or even having anything in common with 50. And at the time, he was hot when I interviewed him. And so what he said to me was that he has all of these old friends that he's known for a long time in his life, and that he wants them to succeed and he wants them to win when he wins. And he wants them to have their own wins. But convincing them to do the right thing in order for him to get to where, or them to get to where they needed to get to, it was wearing on him. And then there was a group of people, and for him, usually white people, who wanted to advance him, and they wanted to teach him the things that he really wanted to learn how to do to get to his next level in the career. So what he asked me was, well, what do I do? Do I stay with the team that I know, who know me, who love me for me, but they don't want to grow? Or do I change the room and go with the people who want, he didn't say change the room, but he said, do I go with the new people who I don't know if I could trust, who I don't know if they even want me for me or they want me for my fame and my money? Like, what do I do? And I said, that's a dilemma, and I don't know what the answer is. So yeah, my interview with 50 Cent was probably around 2003, 2005-ish, where he was pretty hot on the music scene. And if we follow his example and look at, where he is now, and we see all of the things that he's accomplished and all the things that he's doing, he's not hanging out with the same guys from G-Unit, from the hood. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with keeping your circle and keeping your family close. But, some people you're going to have to leave behind. And now we see him as not just a rapper, but as an entrepreneur, as a businessman. He's into television. He's into water. And all these wonderful things that he's done. He's made a ton of money, allegedly. Because I say allegedly because I don't know. But, the word on the street is he's made a ton of money in Bitcoin. And so it's evident that this strategy or this goal of changing your circle and changing your scene will increase your finances, it will increase your awareness, it will increase your productivity, and it will do some things for you that you possibly cannot do by yourself. And so there's that. So I don't know or didn't know what the answer was then, but I do know what the answer is now. Sometimes you have to change the room. Sometimes you have to leave those things and those people behind in order to get the things that you want. Now, does this mean that I'm not going to be homies with my homies? No, that's not what this means. And does this mean that I'm not going to still go to them to talk about and kiki and talk about the things that we talk about? Absolutely not. We friends. And for some of them, we family. But when I get my monies and I get it to where I want to get to in my career, and they are not able to stand next to me on the same plateau, and they're not able to meet me halfway in terms of like their accomplishments and my accomplishments, that's not going to be my fault. And I'm not going to have any guilt about it because I'm going to put in my work and I'm going to reap my harvest. And so if you find yourself stagnated, or if you find yourself in a room, or you find yourself struggling with people who are not willing or not ready or not able to advance to your level, and you feel that you need to vibrate higher, you may need to leave that room. A friend of mine also told me, you have to learn to get up from the table where love is no longer being served. It's not that they don't love me, but my advancement, they're not nourishing me in the way that I need to be nourished by the community that I have to be in. And I thank God every day that I put up that post. I want to say stupid post, but there's nothing stupid about it. But I felt stupid writing it like, hey, I need friends. But I'm so grateful that I was able to be vulnerable and get to a point that I'm able to ask for the help that I need, because it came, and I'm so appreciative and I'm so grateful and I'm so ready to see what we as a group and we as individuals and me personally gets to accomplish this year because of the love and energy and investment poured into the other members in me and vice versa. And so it's another episode of Black Therapist Podcast. Be well. You've listened to another episode of the Black Therapist Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Nikita Banks, licensed clinical social worker. And this is Black Therapist Podcast, formerly Black in Therapy. If you are looking for any information, any resources about today's show, or if you just want to drop a line and say, hey, and subscribe to our mailing list, you can do so at our website, blacktherapistpodcast.com. You can send us emails at blacktherapistpodcast@gmail.com. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, because we want the show to grow as organically as we possibly can. And we cannot do that without you. Thank you for listening. Be well.